Lewis Hamilton has opened up about the crash in Barcelona as he provided detailed feedback about the car's behaviour, which has thrown him into the barriers in Turn 2. However, with these tests being paradoxically profitable from crashes like the one from Hamilton, is Ferrari going to implement the feedback and build a better car in 2025? And more importantly, will it suit Hamilton's driving style more than we could have originally anticipated? One of the greatest transfers in the history of the sport has finally materialized. And with Hamilton going through an extensive testing scheme with Ferrari, few expected that a crash of the magnitude like this one in Barcelona could have happened to the 7-time world champion. Nevertheless, these mistakes are telling the team a lot more than the driver actually not making a mistake, because they happen for a reason. The driver is pushing the car to the absolute limit and is learning about its behavior. Ferrari would be smart to use the feedback from Hamilton because, unlike Leclerc and Sainz, he's driving this car for the first time in his career and could tell if there's something essentially wrong with it. As of now, what has been reported is that Lewis is acclimatizing well to some other aspects of the SF23, or more precisely, to Ferrari's cars in general, such as the start procedure and releasing the clutch. This is something that plagued the performance of the man he succeeded in Ferrari, Carlos Sainz. Given the fact that it's an aspect that rarely changes in the car over its evolution, it's great news for Ferrari in general. What needs to be extracted here as very important information is that Hamilton is slowly but surely debunking myths that he doesn't really have great knowledge of developing a car the way that Michael Schumacher did in Ferrari's glory days. Lewis has always gone under the spotlight from a variety of F1 experts when it comes to providing extensive feedback about the car's behavior. But the fact that Mercedes didn't listen to him from day one when the ground era started goes to show that Hamilton does, in fact, know a thing or two when it comes to what the car needs and what makes it weak. This might be one of the reasons why the 7-time world champion has asked for some changes in the car's characteristics, like the ones with the pedals and the cockpit of the car. Mercedes wasn't very keen on listening to Lewis, and they felt like these were just excuses for his declining performance. But the fact that Ferrari has opted to make the complicated pedal change goes to show that they have full trust in Hamilton's feedback. Furthermore, Hamilton has gotten used to the braking system, mostly because Ferrari uses different discs than those in Mercedes. Even though Lewis crashed and ended his run abruptly with a 120-mile-per-hour crash at the end of Turn 12, he reported positive impressions to the Ferrari engineers. This means that the car was not as bad as they thought, and while it scored worse results compared to 2022, it was the only challenger on the grid other than the RB21 to have won a race in Singapore. It's very important for Hamilton to get adjusted to other aspects as well, such as tyre management weakness. This is something that the 7-time world champion struggled with a lot in Mercedes, and it's been brought to the attention of Ferrari, who are now very willing to work on this segment with Hamilton while putting Leclerc on a different program. A myth that Hamilton would have to bust sooner rather than later is the age and the process of staying fit while in his 40s and fighting for a championship. This is something that was brought to attention by Felipe Massa, a former Ferrari driver and Hamilton's championship protagonist back in 2008. When talking about it, the Brazilian driver said, "If you asked me if I would hire Hamilton as the head of Ferrari as a driver, yes, I would without a doubt because of the talent he has. He's one of the most incredible drivers in Formula One. But because of his age, maybe not. If you look at the sport, age matters, and we have to understand how much age is weighing on him in this situation or not. I'm talking about myself. These days, I need to train much more physically than I used to. It's much harder to recover physically after a difficult race or an intense training session. Age takes its toll in some areas. That is normal. Age is something that has weighed negatively on several drivers, as it did for Schumacher. On the other hand, Piero Ferrari is not very worried about the age impact on Hamilton's tenure with Ferrari. When addressing this situation, the son of Enzo believes that Lewis will be able to find his old form in no time and be competitive straight off the bat. Yes, chances that he could win the championship on his first try are a bit far-fetched because he has yet to fully accommodate and trust the car to the point of pushing it to the absolute maximum. But then again, if there's one driver that you could bet your life on accommodating to new machinery at the age of 40, it has to be Lewis Hamilton. Of course, the situation is now very precise in terms of the battle on the track. Because if we're to look in the deepest segment of this partnership, it's most likely going to be a very fierce battle between Leclerc and Hamilton. The friendly masks will fall down as soon as the visors are put in front of their eyes. Lewis has one goal in front of him: to win the 8th record-breaking championship and cement his legacy in this sport as the only driver to score such an achievement. But according to Piero Ferrari, the rivalry between Leclerc and Hamilton is not something that should worry the fans of the Maranello team. It's not like these two are going to create a toxic environment to work in, similar to what happened in Mercedes from 2014 to 2016 between Hamilton and Rosberg.